So I took DMAA for a week, and not so surprisingly, the compound banned in most of the Western world had some interesting side effects, especially towards the end of the experiment. DMAA, otherwise known as dimethylamine, is a sympathomimetic drug created in the 1960s as a nasal medication. It worked by stimulating the sympathetic nervous system to cause nasal decongestion until it was taken off the market in the 80s. Then Patrick Arnold reintroduced it in the market in 2006 as a diet and workout supplement, but due to a handful of deaths related to the supplement's side effects, it was swiftly banned in 2013. It was here where the compound slowly became famous in the workout community as a pre-workout so powerful that normal people just couldn't handle it, and it circled the community, spreading its legendary status. And so, I embarked on a journey to get my hands on this legendary compound. And one Google search later, I found it. 100 grams of pure DMAA powder. Despite being banned in 9 countries, it was super easy to find, with many pre-workouts still housing the compound, as well as other so-called exotic stims. These exotic stims are typically banned due to their high impact on blood pressure, risk of heart attack, and heart disease. DMAA is especially potent when it comes to these symptoms, having killed 5 confirmed people due to these side effects. So naturally I brought 100 grams of it. Now, was I going to be using anywhere near this amount? Fuck no, I want to be 6 inches, not 6 feet under. I started at a relatively moderate dose of 10 mg. Most pre-workouts with DMAA have anywhere from 50 to 100 mg in it, and considering I'm a larger person at 6'3", 200 pounds-ish, I figured this was a very safe starting point. To keep things consistent, however, I went in on an empty stomach so I could actually feel my stims, as well as my typical 2 scoops of pre-workout. So yeah, day 1 was a little rough. I knew the risk of the side effects, but experience it firsthand was a surreal experience. The cardiovascular fatigue was a particular note. I hadn't realized how prevalent this was and it was going to affect me. You'll see the heart fatigue is very common throughout the rest of this video, but here it was really noticeable, being the first time I had actually experienced it. The bronchial constriction was more so just present during the onset of the compound, as well as after some lifts. But worse than these two, which I was warned about beforehand, was the fatigue. I would work out, and then that was it for the rest of the day. I just had to lay down and often just take a nap because I couldn't do anything else. This was the first good day. I doubled the dose, but I took the second half after working out to try and mitigate the tiredness, which obviously isn't healthy, but it was in the name of science. Day 2 side effects weren't quite as bad, surprisingly, but they were still prevalent. And this second hit was really interesting, as I was quite productive, but God forbid there was any option to get distracted, and it was over. This is something I really would like to point out, as I had distraction issues throughout the week. DMAA is extremely dopaminergic, allowing for really easy hyperfixation. This is amazing if you can fixate on work or school, but if it's on fucking Magikarp Jump or some shit, then you've redlined your system for no reason. The best comparison I have for this is Adderall, at least for me, as a few times I tried Adderall, it was a dice roll as to whether I'd be getting work done or being distracted. A very important note is that the DMAA is not quite as extreme as Adderall. I'd say it was like if you took a diluted Adderall about 50% potency, but it was still really extreme. These diluted properties are caused by the 2 methyl groups on the DMAA molecule, which are attached to the nitrogen molecule. Usually when dopamine or DMAA molecules are metabolized, the MAO metabolite attaches to the nitrogen on the molecule, quickly metabolizing that molecule, thus no longer agonizing the receptor. However, in the case of DMAA, the methyl groups are attached to the nitrogen, forcing the MAO to metabolize the methyl groups before it can even begin to metabolize the nitrogen. This allows the DMAA to stay on the dopamine receptor for much longer, causing the stimulatory effects that DMAA is known for. There are some similarities with how amphetamines are metabolized, but that's for another video, as there's so much more I'd like to unpack with the compound, but this should be enough to get us to the rest of today's video. Days 3 through 6 were surprisingly really similar aside from one hiccup on day 4. The side effects were obviously present, but not too much of a problem. These were some of the best workouts I had had up to this point mentally. Super fucking fun, even if my numbers were down slightly due to shit sleep. That's something I hadn't really considered before embarking on this challenge. The stims rate my diurnal rhythm, and with all the naps, my sleep was just fucked. It kind of felt like I couldn't get past stage 1 sleep, and that would be congruent with the lack of dreams and nocturnal erections. But overall, it was going really well. My workouts were fun, and when I wasn't distracted, I was super fucking productive. And every day was like this, but something wasn't right. I could feel my body getting weaker and even more and more tired. And this was all foreshadowed on day 4. I could barely get out of bed that day because of the withdrawals. I just wanted to kind of waste away and die. And even when I did stim up, I felt like shit. I got all of the negative side effects real bad, and I didn't feel any of the happy dopaminergic activity. Luckily, this was the only day that was like this, and the rest of the days were pretty good through both days 5 and 6. And then day 7 came. It was a typical good stimmed up day, and I got to do a bunch of work. And then I checked Magikarp Jump, and with no exaggeration, this is what I look like. Fucking Shrimp hunched over his phone playing Magikarp Jump until I looked up and 4 hours had passed. After realizing what I had done, I tossed my phone across my room and got to work. Then I proceeded to animate half of a video. This is the most I'd ever animated in one session, and this seemed like a pretty nice way to wrap up this little venture. So I went to sleep ready to send this one to the books. What's going on? No, dude, the challenge is over. You can stop now. Dude, stop! So, I fucked up. I thought I could quit cold turkey, and I tried for a day, but day 7 offered such an unparalleled level of productivity that I just couldn't get out of my head. If I could get all of that work done while still wasting half the day on Magikarp fucking Jump, then imagine what I could accomplish in an uninterrupted session. Thought process coupled with the withdrawals led to that little relapse you guys saw earlier. And as the dosages got higher and higher, and the side effects got worse and worse, I implemented my emergency plan. I had prepared this in case I failed to quit the first time before I started the challenge. It was a 4-day recovery plan that would result in little to no withdrawals. Each day I would cut the dose in thirds of the previous dose until I was below 5 mg, and then I would cut it out completely. And this actually worked! It took a few more days for my heart and sleep to recover, but then I was back to normal. Hey! What the fuck are you doing here? Shoot! Fuck. Should have stopped taking everything at the last day of the recovery plan. Instead, I upped my caffeine intake to get even a fraction of the kick I used to get from Dmaa. And that's where I'm at currently, slamming pre with raw caffeine powder just to feel anything. Is it ideal? No, but just gotta keep trucking until I'm at a point in my schedule to recover properly and reset my tolerance. So if you want to see more on how these sims are affecting the neurochemistry of your brain, such as the Adderall I didn't get a chance to elaborate on earlier, check out this video on neuroplasticity. It'll teach you about what's actually going on more at the chemical level. Anyways, I gotta go tackle the rest of the stim addiction. So until next time, thank you so much for watching. I love you. Mwah.